Welcome. This is Melinda Barlow CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and today's lesson is from the Zentangle Primer, Volume 1, and it is Lesson 4, and it's about shading. And so I pulled out some of my tiles that are very simple, and they're just shaded differently. So, and I don't memorize the names of the tiles, but some of them I'll remember, but I'm just going to pull out some tiles. This one is not shaded, so we're going to shade it, but we're going to draw a few and then shade some. And I also just kind of did a little throwback to making your strings, and I looked in my box, and I've always got stuff that has partial things done on it. Here's another one, this partial, it's even partially shaded. And a couple of more just different tiles with strings on them. So we're going to work on those today and see how we come. So we're just going to talk about the importance of shading, and so we'll just jump right into it. In the primer we learned that it doesn't matter how you shade. There's no light source, it's just a matter of putting it where you want. And since we have a tile here that is not shaded at all, and compared to those that are shaded, you can see a difference. And I'm going to scan in so you can see. And I'm just going to shade this one by putting a little graphite just here, I think in the tips of this particular one. And then I'm going to draw this one so you can see it. But we're going to start out with a little bit of shading. And you can just use a regular pencil, and then I'm going to take my shading stump and I'm just going to blend it down in. This is one way that I could shade this particular tile that I've done. Or I could take it and I could shade the little stripes that are in there. So I could just take it and just shade some of the little stripes that I've got. So let's draw this one that I started on this particular tile. String is a little different, and let's see if I was good and I wrote oh, I did. This is from the Fragment and Reticula book, and so this is Fragment T from the primer, T3, and Reticula, this one was Reticula B2. So we'll do the fragment, and we're just going to, I'm going to draw from this across, and then I'm going to give it some bowed out and do one line, and then I'm going to shade in this. So it'll be like skipping a line. So do a line, and then another one, and then I shade this one. And I'm going to change pens to my PN, because lately I have had kind of a heavy hand, and this PN pen, that plastic nib, just allows me to fill in a little bit easier without having too heavy of a hand. And I left a little sparkle in that one. So again, we're going to do this one. I'm just going to do a diagonal line, and then some bowed out, and then another bow. And I could go ahead and just arc this out all the way to the end. It's kind of my mood today. And then I could start filling in. I'm going to fill in from the side. Then I'm going to skip. So I have one with a line. And fill in, then skip. And I love doing fragments. And I just really like it. And then I could just do that last one if I wanted to. But we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and draw this. And then I will come back in and we will shade this one. But you can see how this is just turning out absolutely stunning. And we can shade it. And I think I'm going to stop here and do a different fragment in this area. Just to show you that you can, like change your mind and do something different. So I'm just doing some Okay, now we're ready to shade this tile. And I am going to just use a pencil, and I'm going to use a shading stump, or tortillon. I never can say those correctly. And this is just a little rolled up piece of paper. I'm going to pull me off a clean one, but I just wanted to show you that you can take your dirty ones and just take an emery board and then just rub it on the side of an emery board, and it will clean it right up and sharpen it up so that it stays sharp, so you can reuse it over and over. So let's put down some graphite. And I'm just going to put down graphite right along this edge. Kind of the outside edge of my end. Down this stripe, this edge, and along this outside edge. And then I'm going to take my shading stump and I'm just going to blend it. And I don't want it to come all the way in, just part way. And I'm pushing it into those white areas. And then I'm going to pull it out onto that outside edge. There's really no rules in shading, and so we can go along those lines. I'm just going to do those 3 lines, and then I'm going to pull this. And I use a little circular stroke. And I'm not using the very tip, I'm kind of using the side of my shading stump. And I'm going to come down here. Just going to soften it up. Along that edge. And blend it out. So you can see just how much fun that is to shade those. This particular tile, I did crescent moon, and I just repeated and just did on the inside, so it kind of has depth. And I noticed that I did not shade here, so we're going to come back and shade these parts. I'm just going to put a little graphite here in the tips. We'll shade those so you can kind of... And as your shading stump starts to build up with graphite, it makes it a little bit harder to blend. So if you'll take it and clean off that graphite, because graphite is a lubricant and very slippery, and we clean it off, and then it will blend it a little bit better. It won't just blow over the top. So you can see how much depth that gives comparing. So just that little bit of graphite right in those tips, and then blending it out. So we still have a little bit of highlight there. You don't want too dark. Okay, and also I think this one could use, I'm going to put graphite all the way around this outside edge. Oh, I just broke that. I'm going to pick up a different pencil. Just broke that lead. So I could put it all the way around, and I'm just going to stop there. And then I'm going to blend it so it comes out to my outside edge. I need to clean that shading stump again. And the paper just kind of peels off. But then it will start blending it better again. And you can see the difference in here and here in the depth of the tangle. Shading is fabulously fun. It's kind of the icing on the cake. So don't forget to get you some shading stumps and a pencil and emery board, and away you go. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. New videos every Thursday. And tangle every day. You'll have a great time. Thanks again, and bye-bye.